What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. I am, of course, your host, Reckless Rexx Ruger. That, of course, is the Freddie Mercury puppet. We are back with another incredible episode. It's what we do, folks, and we ain't about to change it now. I'll address the elephant in the room as I do every episode. You're looking at the smoldering good looks, the luscious rock star blonde locks. I will confirm for you that, yes, you are looking at the one and only love child of one Diamond David Lee Roth. Now it's out on the table, and we can get down to brass tacks. My guest is here, so we are getting into it immediately. Here we go with another amazing episode. Let's do it, y'all. Man, straight from the business call right into this, right?
Yeah, man. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Yeah. How's it going, man?
It's going, dude. You know,
Work
hanging
beckons,
in there. One more time for me.
You said work beckons, huh?
Yeah. You know, I tend to stay pretty busy.
Yeah.
Doing some work. After this, I'm gonna just enjoy some time off. It's a weekend, and you know.
Amen to that, man. That sounds good. But that would sound good if it was my weekend to work. I unfortunately work in healthcare where I have to do the every other weekend thing.
Oh shit!
It sucks. Yeah, it sucks. I sometimes wish I had a Monday through Friday. The good thing is that I do get a day off during the week, so that kind of breaks it up, and it is nice. You can get a lot done sometimes during the week with a day off. But yeah, having the weekend off is nice, though.
Yeah. I'm a very Monday through Friday guy, but dude, that's cool. You work in healthcare, man. Admirable.
Yeah. Even though they don't want to deem us as professionals anymore.
Oh, shit.
Although they'll still take my money when I just renewed my nursing license, though, from the New York State Office of Professions is where I had to send my payment off to. So I'm still paying as if I'm a professional. And it's funny. I told someone this the other day, 2 or 3 years ago during COVID, every nursing home in this area, I don't know if it was like this all across the world. I'm in upstate New York, but every nursing home had a sign in front that said, "Heroes work here." You know what I mean? How quickly people have forgotten, though, now post-COVID, now that COVID is over. We were heroes 3 years ago. Now we don't want to be looked at as professionals anymore. But
oh, man, that's bullshit.
It is. It really is. But, I mean, first of all, congratulations, man. I really love this new the Barren Path album, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. 12 songs, 13 minutes. That's the way to do it, dude. Just drub us over the fucking bed and be out, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you guys sit around and you make an album, because, oftentimes in preparation for these interviews, I will occasionally peruse what a band is up to, and I will inadvertently come across albums being reviewed. And again, I say this all the time. Maybe this speaks to the dwindling attention spans and how we're consuming music now in 2025. But a big sticking point that I see with reviewers often is the amount of songs and the length that the album comes in at. Now, grindcore is obviously one of those things where you couldn't listen to it probably for 60 or 70 minutes. I mean, it can be abrasive. But do you guys sit around as a band and talk about how many songs, how many minutes do we want this to come in at?
Not necessarily. I mean, for this project, Takafumi pretty much wrote everything on his own, and those were the songs that he had ready at the time. He flew over and tracked it with Brian. You know, he's out in Kyoto, Japan. Brian's in Texas. I'm in Los Angeles. It's a logistical nightmare, but we make it work because, you know, we're committed to this genre of music and very, very passionate about, you know, working together. And though there wasn't really anything in mind. It's just came together naturally. But I feel for grindcore and music like that. I feel when you make a record past maybe the 25-minute mark, I feel like it can be very overwhelming. You know, like no one goes back and listens to like the last couple songs off Inhale Exhale by Nazem. There's like, you know, like 30 something tracks on there. Great record, but you know, I don't know. I feel like it'll overwhelm the listener after a while.
Yeah. It might even drive them to maybe go commit some heinous acts, commit some murders. You know what I mean? Like if they're going back and they're listening to this, man, on repeat all the time, man. Yeah, we may be dealing with some very deranged people.
Or maybe the opposite. I listen to
Or maybe the
grindcore all the
opposite. Maybe
time.
it's keeping him healthy.
I feel like it keeps me quite balanced and keeps me from doing that. You know,
Yeah.
I get this sort of emotional release from listening to really fast, abrasive music and creating it with other people. And if I didn't have that in my life, I don't know what type of person I'd be.
I think there's some truth in that too, because I think I do remember reading a study, and they did say that listening to extreme metal did help people, and studies were showing, man, that most metalheads were pretty well adjusted.
Yeah. I mean,
that made sense, and that made sense on some level to me. It did.
I've met some not so well adjusted metalheads, but that's all. It's all part of the community.
But you're just probably knows in any genre, though. So having done so many of these episodes, I kind of like to go back to the beginning, because a common theme that I hear with artists, especially musical artists, is coming from homes where there was an abundance of music, records being played, maybe parents that were musically proficient. Was this the case for you?
Dude, actually, it really wasn't at all. My introduction to metal, it was honestly just something I discovered on my own, strangely. Like, I was raised by my mom, and, she's Cuban, so she would mostly listen to, like, salsa, whatever was on the pop radio at the time, a lot of, like, 90s dance music and stuff. And, I discovered the rock station, and I happened to grow up at a time when, like, Nirvana, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains were all being played on the radio. And, that spoke to me. And in school, I met a couple other friends who are into rock music. You see the other kid with long hair, and you're just like, all right, I'm gonna hang out with that dude.
Yep.
In fact, one of my best friends growing up, that's how we met. And we met in art class, because we were the two guys with long hair that were like drawing skulls and Mortal Kombat fatalities and stuff. So just start talking about,
hey, there's a kindred spirit.
Shout out to Chris Pabone, one of my best friends who passed away a couple of years ago. But that's how we met. It's life, man. It happens, unfortunately. We all carry forward and remember those we love and hold those memories in our hearts and just keep living. That's all we can do. I just did the thing where, you trade CDs with friends and stuff. And I was into rock, and I remember discovering 9 Inch Nails, and that was a game changer for me. And then, I did one of those Columbia House things back in the day. And,
you and everybody else. Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah. And, the one record that changed my life, like the moment I pressed play, was I randomly happened to get a copy of Far Beyond Driven by Pantera.
Yeah.
I'd heard Cowboys from Hell before through a friend. I'm like, oh, it's cool, But Far Beyond Driven, just listen to Strength Beyond Strength for the first time as like a 12-year-old. I was like, dude, I need more of this. So then I went and I saved my money to get a used copy of Slayer, Rain and Blood, and Metallica and Justice for All. And I listened to Slayer way more. And then I bought more Slayer CDs. Like, Metallica's cool, but dude, I need this. Like, And then, through that, and then growing up, and there was a big hardcore scene in South Florida, discovering hardcore music and death metal. And I've always just had a curiosity for extreme stuff. And anything I have any remote interest, I tend to just deep dive. And, and then in high school, I start listening to like grindcore, death metal. And then I just, throughout that time, I'm like, all right, I appreciate like the sort of punk ideology and beliefs behind grindcore, but also just the fast, intense playing. And it just spoke to me more than anything else. So, self-made weirdo. Can't play an instrument for shit, but I can make Cookie Monster sounds.
I don't want to impugn what you do, though, because that would be my next question. Your voice in the band is your instrument, but are you a guy? Because there is a physicality, to performing this type of music with your voice as your instrument. Do you ascribe to any type of vocal care, or are you just a guy that can just get up there and just fucking belt it out?
Dude, I practice vocals on my own all the time.
Okay.
It's corny, but like I'll do some exercises in the bathroom while I'm taking a shower. In the shower, I feel like there's good resonance in there, and that just like reverberates. And then every couple months I'll go through a set or two, because I play in multiple bands, and I'll just rent a rehearsal spot, run it through the PA, and do it myself. Just to stay in shape, because there was a couple of years where I wasn't playing music actively, and I went to go record something, and I lost my voice in the studio, and I'm like, I thought I was done, and I'm like, dude, never again. It's a lot like exercising. Like, if you don't run constantly, you're gonna go for a run one day and be fucking winded.
Oh yeah, or pull a hamstring or something. Yeah. Or just be tired, run out of gas. Like it's the same thing. I feel like playing a show is like sprinting, and you'll get tired and like forget when you have to breathe during this part or whatever. Right.
But as far as technique and not losing my voice, I've just been doing it so long. Like, I just know. I know what this little pocket of air holds in this part of my chest. And I don't lose my voice on tour. Luckily. I don't know. It's
And so you mentioned being involved in multiple projects, man, and I'm always fascinated. I've talked to many guys on here who have that singular focus. They're in one band, that's their band. But then I do have guys on here, 4, 5, 6 different bands. I always applaud the energy, the commitment, the finding the time or whatever. Is that the way that you prefer to work? Do you like being in multiple projects, staying busy, having a few eggs in many different baskets?
I mean, it's just how things have panned out for me now in this stage of my life. Before, in my 20s and early 30s, it was just mostly Maruda. That was my main band. I did some stuff in Noisier for a bit in between that time, but I don't know. I feel now with all the bands I have, it's like musicians I've collaborated with in the past, and like we all just kind of are doing this. I'm in this strange phase of my life where no one lives in LA in any of my bands, really.
Yeah.
Like,
you're a lone guy.
yeah. We're all these just like fucking technical grindcore maniacs that just like, okay, I know I can work with that guy and he's the right fit, but he lives all the way in Florida and I'm here. But it just makes sense for the vision that we have, that we want to just, make happen. But I don't know. I don't feel like there is either is cool. I'm just happy to be involved with music that I care about and speaks to me. So,
but I imagine that's when the technology really comes in handy, right? When you are spread out all over the place, though.
Yeah. I mean, even back in the day when I was doing Maruda stuff, like post 2010. Half of the band lived in Orlando and half lived in Miami, which is about a 4-hour drive.
Yeah.
So I'm somehow used to it. I would love to have a band where everyone lives in the same city, because I feel we'd accomplish so much just like doing the like, all right, we're going to knock out 3 shows this weekend and go up north. And then in a month we'll go out east or whatever. I don't know. It's a heavy lift every time I play a show nowadays.
Yeah. Now I know I mentioned about sometimes seeing album reviews. Are you somebody that when you put out a piece of work that you're involved in, will you look at feedback and criticism? Do you go out and take a peek at what people are saying?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, it's cool. I try not to get too caught up into that. But a lot of people have been saying really nice things about the Barren Path record, and that's been pretty nice. It does feel pleasant when people acknowledge what you're doing, even on a small scale. Everything I've done has never been, I'm trying to put music out and make it or whatever and make this a financially viable thing. It's just been expression. That's the best way I can put it, man. But yeah, very, very grateful that people are checking it out. Like for me, I don't mind if getting a bad review, like it's happened to me in the past. It's like someone just doesn't get what we're doing. But yeah, good review, bad review. I think both of those are better than just people not hearing your music or not even knowing it exists, because there's such an abundance of music coming out all the time, you know, and I feel just the world acknowledging that you put something out is an endeavor on its own. You know, it's just not easy. Yeah. So yeah, as long as people know it exists, I'm happy.
Yeah.
And so whether you think it sucks, you at least heard it.
Right. Yeah, it's at least on your radar. And now this band, if I'm not mistaken, kind of spawned from GridLink.
Yeah. It's all.
But you were not a part of GridLink, though. Everybody else in Barren Path was.
Yes, everyone was on the last GridLink album. Coronet Juniper. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you come on their radar as a vocalist?
Well, I've been friends with those guys for many years.
Okay.
My old band Maruda and GridLink played shows in 2011. And Takafumi, I did vocals on his solo record. The guitar player Brian I've known forever. Mo, the bass player, used to be in Maruda, and they were writing songs after the last record they did. It's supposed to be like sort of return to form to the first two releases they did, and during that writing process, John Chang decided to leave, so they hit me up, and of course it's going to be a completely new band without Chang. And there's no way in hell I could say no, because I think they're all great people and great musicians, and we have like-minded ideas of what our version of grindcore is. So I'm fuck yeah, let's go.
And so there's no audition process involved, right? Like they just know that you're the guy.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, they just all messaged me and they're like, "You want to do this?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" And that was that. There was no audition sort of say or anything.
And now you mentioned that when you were coming up, that you obviously, I can tell it by talking to you, there's a passion for music, but like, why never an instrument? It just was never on your radar. I'm that way too, man. I kick myself now at 52 years old. I wish that I had fucking mastered an instrument, not even to be famous, not even to be a touring musician, just to be able to just play one.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I don't know. I started playing music with friends in middle school and in high school, and I was in a bunch of really shitty bands. Yeah. But I just always had that like, oh, I want to be a vocalist guy. Yeah. It's silly. And that like a vocalist dude that doesn't even really sing, just a extreme metal guy.
Yeah. You had lead singer's disease.
I'm just stubborn and I just went with it. And also part of the equation is that I feel like, once I was like 18 or so, what year, like 2001, 2002, I started playing with like legit good musicians. Yeah. And, I was trying to pick up bass for a bit at the time, but then I just jammed with these fucking absolute shredders. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, there's no way in hell I can keep up. I'm just going to stick to doing vocals.
Yeah. I better stay right where I'm at.
and I've been very grateful throughout my life. I've like, even outside of high school, the first band I was ever in that like toured and stuff. I played with some very talented dudes that are still playing music to this day, yeah, it's been one of my favorite parts about growing up is everyone's in their 40s now. They're like, yeah, dude, you're still fucking doing the thing. So am I. And like, we've all like figured out careers and stuff, but we're still, just committed to this shit. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah. And now what's your relationship with, I know it's a big part of the business and a big part of pushing a band forward these days. What's your relationship like with touring? I know there's a glamour side to it, getting to go around and see different places in the world or whatever, but oftentimes people don't like to be ripped away from their creature comforts for very long either, or they're not maybe in a position where they can just go off for a couple of weeks, tied to a day job, tied to commitments. What's your own relationship like with touring and ability to tour?
So I'm more of like a freelancer. I'm a video editor. There's times I can take off. Granted, it's always a bit nerve-wracking. I don't think I could do more than like a month or something. Yeah. But You know, I used to tour a lot in my 20s and early 30s. Definitely never glamorous. I fucking loved it. I love going out and performing and hanging out with friends in a van, as long as you're all getting along and there's not that one guy who, like, you know, is kind of a jerk or has some substance abuse issue. I've dealt with those before as well, you know. But like, man, when the vibe is right and you're with like the right set of friends and you're out there playing, it's been some of the best times of my life, you know, and I'm grateful for it. And I don't know, I definitely would like to get out there a bit more. Last year, Shock Withdrawal did a couple very short tours, which is one of my other bands with Mo from Barren Path's also in that band. That was such a great time, even though, you know, it was a mixed bag of good shows and not so good shows. But to me, as long as you're able to pull off sounding tight, that's a reward, you know. Just like, hey, we all played a sick ass set, and you just feel that energy, and you look over, there's like maybe 8 people there. But
is it hard to get
it for our fucking selves, dude?
I'm curious, and I'm glad you brought that up, man, because you know, obviously there is a lot of adrenaline, there is a lot of emotion, you know, there's a lot of angst, you know, I mean, into playing extreme metal. Is it hard to get up as a performer? Like, I know, you know, you made the reference, 8 people in the audience, though. Those 8 people paid. Granted, they deserve a good show. It's not their fault that the whole place is not packed or whatever. But is it hard as a performer to get up for a show like that?
No, me, I'm a weirdo. Like, I played shows at 8 people, and I played shows like at festivals that are packed as far as I can see back. Like, granted, not big outdoor Euro festivals. I think the biggest festival I played in Europe was maybe like Obscene Extreme with Maruda. But like, you know, your classic like Maryland Death Fest type scenario where it's just like it's packed. And I don't know. I don't really get that anxiety before performing, like if it's packed or if there's no one there. And if I do, I just remind myself this is what I'm looking forward to. Right. And I don't know. I kind of like being seen in general and just doing the fucking thing. And then,
I've heard some performers like say that playing those big festivals almost feels like, because they're so far away and there's so many of them, that it almost feels like playing to nobody, and that the stakes are almost a little higher when you are in an intimate setting and playing to less people.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the intimate setting and less people is what I grew up on. You know, I played countless shows in basements to like 30, 40 people that are really into it, and that's been fucking awesome, you know. But again, as long as we play well, that's what matters.
That's the key. That's the key.
Like that's you know, when you're there performing and all the parts connect, and then there's always that one part, just like the timing's a little weird. It's like, oh shit, am I gonna pull it off? If I overthink it, I won't. If I just let it go, and then it clicks, and you're like, oh, I just get this dopamine rush, and you're like, all right, dude, fuck yeah, we're tight. Like it's a hobby, man, you know, and it's something that you want to do well. If you're not going to do it 100%, there's no point to even trying. So yeah,
now that's
what I get off on.
And now, from a fan standpoint, man, you know, is there a show that sticks out that you might have seen live that really resonated with you and stayed with you?
Oh shit.
And I'm sure you've probably been to your fair share of concerts.
Oh yeah. I've had a show like every other week. Trying to think of one recently. All right, I'm gonna do like a slightly deep cut. Maybe it was like 2 years ago.
Okay.
This band Avaturn from New York. And it's funny because I ran into them and I didn't realize that I knew some of the guys. It's this dude, Garrett, used to be in like this band Flourishing, and this band Wet Nurse back in the day, and has Ian on drums or Miasmatic Necrosis. Anyhow, it's Sam from Artificial Brain plays bass in it. But you know, they're sort of this like dissonant death metal band, and like I remember hearing a song or two, but I wasn't really familiar with the record or anything, and I watched them play, and they absolutely just fucking crushed, man. It was Yeah,
Yeah.
from where I was standing at the venue, the sound was perfect, and the drums were just so brutal. Yeah, it was great. It was fucking excellent. Trying to think if anything else.
And it's
always
hard now.
something, man.
It's hard nowadays too, man. Because when you go out to see live bands, man, when you go to see some of the bigger acts nowadays, it's expensive.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know?
It's gotten insane.
Yeah.
Especially out here in Los Angeles. Even just taking an Uber to and from the venue and 2 drinks, and you're
Yeah.
out over $100.
Oh yeah. I just had a conversation with someone on the podcast the other day too, man. We were kind of brought up. He kind of threw the question on me actually about, like, you know, I mean, like where I stood on, like, you know, you see a lot of these bands out there touring right now, and there's no original members left in the band. You know what I mean? These big legacy bands, and there's nobody left. You know what I mean? It's like it's like, you know, it's like the whole band is guys that started as like roadies and now have, like, you know, somehow like morphed into the current you know, lineup of the band, but there's no original members, but they still charge you the price like they're legends.
Yep. Yeah, it's an interesting time to be alive in that regard. I feel like we're just holding on to like these remnants.
Yes.
And I don't know. I'm very 50-50 on how I feel about that. You know?
Yeah. Well, you are shelling out your money or whatever. I mean, even if there's one member floating around in there somewhere, hanging on by a thread or wwhatever, you can kind of say, okay, there's some authenticity still left here. You know what I mean? But when there's nobody, it's just a skeleton of the former band. And I hate to pick on them. Yeah, you know, but the bands that came up in our discussion were Foreigner and Leonard Skinner, who were going out on tour together this summer, and there's no original members left in either band.
That's amazing.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. And I don't think I would have the problem with it if they were saying, you know, we're paying homage, a tribute, you know, we're going to represent these songs, and the ticket price is respectable. But when you're charging north of $100 and charging Foreigner or Leonard Skinner original member money, that's a problem.
Yeah, but you know what's strange? With people still pay for it, man.
They will.
I feel like
they will.
Rock music, metal, like people just get this mentality. It's just like, I want my metal. Like it doesn't matter who's on stage. They just want to hear these songs live, and they want to buy their $18 tall boy beers and just
and those
hang
people,
out.
You know, and those people will go home and say, and tell people 5 years from now, I saw Foreigner, you know what I mean? Or I saw Leonard Skinner. They didn't really, not to, I mean, you know, not an authentic version of them, you know, but it'll go down, you know, in their book of memories as they saw them, you know?
Yeah.
You know, they got to hear those songs represented or whatever, man. But, you know, you saw them, but did you really? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's kind of a fine line nowadays. Now, do you like where we are in 2025 in terms of, like, obviously there's been seismic changes in the industry. A lot of stuff has changed. Are you a physical product guy or are you a streaming guy?
Oh, dude, I buy vinyl. Like constantly. Yeah, I'm a record nerd. All of my collections in my room. Otherwise, you'd see this huge shelf packed with records. I've been collecting records since I was a teenager, and you know, I'm one of those people. Like anytime a friend or an underground band I really like puts a record out, I just right away pick it up. I allot myself $100 a month to spend on records.
Fair.
Yeah. If I go over, I'm like, all right, calm down, dude. But I feel supporting is very important to me, and I love just hanging out in the living room, putting a record on. I like looking at the artwork all big and nice. And there's just a charm to it.
Yeah, and so when you guys put together the Grieving album, you know, what was the creative process like? What was your involvement in the creative process like? Like, I know you said the guitarist really put together like a lot of the songs. Did you have a hand in any of the creative process, or did he kind of take the reins on all of it?
As far as musical compositions, that was all Takafumi and Brian.
Okay.
And then, you know, I wrote all the lyrics and the song titles, and they gave me free reign to do whatever.
Okay.
And, Takafumi already had the art in mind. It was like, you know, the Japanese looking art with the medieval knight. Yeah. Cool. It's funny because at first, like, I saw it and Bride saw it, we're like, man, this doesn't really look like a grindcore album, or like, I don't know. And all the subject matter on the record's a little bleak, you know, we're like, this like some like medieval like Wizards and Warriors, like what's going on? And then like I looked at it again, I'm like, all right, yeah, it's first of all, I've always thought it was incredibly well done. Like, you know, it's a great piece, but I just wasn't sure if it was the right visual representation at first. So it grew on me, and then, you know, I hired my friend Alex, who's also an artist, and he kind of did the more graphic designy stuff. It was his idea to like put the logo to the side and make it like a side panel. And I feel that kind of unconventional framing with the art made it look even cooler.
Very cool.
And, no, now I absolutely love it. And like, I think it's, But at first I had that sort of just like, it's not, you know, black and white and grungy.
Right.
Like, So
this doesn't scream grindcore.
But you know what? I feel like that makes it better. It's its own thing. It's its own identity, and it also it's rad. I'm really proud of how it came out.
And so when you are going to put lyrics down, man, like what type of creative are you? Like I always see there's kind of two schools of thought when I talk to artists on here. There's there's artists that kind of just get sparks of creativity throughout the day, and you know, maybe they're jotting stuff down or humming stuff into a phone, or there's people that kind of treat it like a job. I'm going to sit down like punching a clock, and I'm going to write. I'm going to create some music right now. Where do you stand on that?
Oh, I'm definitely one of those dudes that like sits down with the instrumentals, and like I have to dedicate a lot of time into it, because it's funny, even though most of what I say is pretty unintelligible. I mean, if you read the lyrics along to it, you'll understand, but it's a lot of time and effort going into something that isn't easily decipherable.
Right.
But no, I will sit there and like, I'm a weirdo that like first I come up with the patterns, and then like I'll have a theme, and then I'll like fit the lyrics into these sort of maps I make. Like I'll count out syllables, and I'm like, all right, this is how it's going to go. And then I start writing, and then I have to sort of truncate everything I write. I'm like, all right, that's 2 syllables more, so I got to change that word.
Right.
And like at the beginning, I'll have this like really poetic thing that I'm like, oh, this sounds so good.
But it's
and
not.
Then by the time but no, I feel like I get pretty introspective with what I write. But like I'll have something written that I think sounds so cool, but by the time I chop it up so it fits into the song, it's like a remnants of what it originally was.
Right.
It doesn't sound as nuanced as it originally did, but also that's part of the challenge, you know, to get in there. It's a very frustrating process, one that I put more time into than I'd like to admit. And I will, there's days that I'll start writing, I'm like, this is trash, and I start over again, and I pace around my room. Once it's figured out, I'm stoked.
And where does it usually come from, man? Like, what sparks the creativity? Are you somebody that draws inspiration from, like, you know, like movies or books, or like, where's most of the, you know, what's the inspiration that you're drawing off of usually?
Oh, dude, just about everything. I mean, just the world, you know, you could just think about the world and
plenty of material there. Yeah.
Oh no, dude. Yeah. You just think about just sort of just abundance of cruelty in the world, you know, thinking about things like that, or you know, sometimes I'll dive into personal experiences and things like that, or, you know, and then I'll, any sort of like dystopian sort of sci-fi and stuff like that, certain films, maybe sometimes a video game will make me think about something, and I'll write something, but then I'll make that into my own thing, you know. But I like to try to write about stuff that's grounded in reality or personal, more than like, you know, zombies and murder and demons, which, you know, I love bands that do that type of shit. No shade, but it's just not really my thing, you know. Not the,
and usually when you're speaking about those real life issues, man, chances are, man, that'll resonate with somebody that's listening to it too.
Yeah, hopefully.
You know, more than likely somebody else will be going through it. Yeah, more than likely somebody else will be going through it. And so if you're writing a grindcore album, and I know nowadays it's easy to put music up on the streaming platforms. You know, we're seeing people really getting a lot of material out there, singles, EPs. I don't know if that works so much in the metal world, but how fast do you think about, if you're a grindcore band, you know, the next project or following it up? Is there a specific timeline you guys are going to work at getting material out?
It's really up to everyone else. You know, I'm the last step of the process.
Remember, there used to be a very definitive formula back in the day. A band would release an album, 2 or 3 years would go by, and then you get the next album from them, you know?
Yeah, but back in the day, I feel like it was like the 3-year full length or 2-year full length was the thing. Look, I remember Judas Priest putting a record out every 2 years for a minute. Yeah, it's insane. Dude, to think back that they wrote like Defenders of the Faith in the studio. They showed up with nothing and wrote it all in the studio is mind-blowing. You know, like, holy shit. What a wonderful luxury to be able to just hang out in the studio for a couple months and crank out some
just roll that shit out of
you. Dude. Yeah. What a time to be alive.
I know.
But it's really up to everyone and how much they're motivated. Granted, like, you know, all the bands that I'm in, everyone has full-time jobs.
Yeah.
We're all in our 40s or late 30s. Takafubi is in his 50s, you know, and it's just like, man, just making this happen alone is a heavy lift, you know, like just balancing everything. So yeah, I know there's new Barren Path stuff that's already in the works. There's about 7 songs done. But that's going to be its own either split or EP. And then there's going to be another full length after that. So it'll be longer than 13 minutes this time. And then Takafumi told me he's going to make it a little more progressive, but also mixed with the brutal stuff. Like, so it'll be a mix of like, I don't know how familiar you are with like Mortalized stuff or maybe like I guess like later Gridlink as well has that sort of like melodic approach at times. So it'll be a mix, but still grounded in being like fast and brutal. It won't go too far off into like the proggy side, but it'll, you know.
Are we inventing a new genre? Are we inventing progressive grindcore?
I've been trying to do that my whole life.
Well, you know what? I mean, come on. I mean, I think the metal world could use another genre. Like there isn't too many already, right? I mean, there's a lot of genres and a lot of subgenres and a lot of subgenres of the subgenres. It's got a little. Let me ask you about your other projects, because you know when I'm putting together, you know, my research for this, I've got other stuff that you're involved in. Maybe you can give me an update on like where it is, if it's still a work in progress, if it's defunct, if it's still going. Noisier.
Oh, Noisier's been over for a long time.
Okay.
And I was never a main member. I did vocals for a couple shows, and I did vocals for one full length and a couple split records. But Noisier would just churn stuff out constantly. Brian from Noisier, the drummer, is the same dude from Barren Path and stuff. So and I still talk to those guys on occasion, man. They're good dudes. But they did play a couple of shows a couple of years ago, but it wasn't with my involvement. You know, I kind of did my thing, and then I came to LA, and I just, you know, was more focused on other things.
How about and I might say this wrong, Ozaru?
Oh, Ozaru. Yeah. That was that's also Mo from Barren Path. I've been in 4 different projects with him at this point.
Well, don't fix it, right? If you're getting along with a guy and can work with him, why not?
Oh,
right?
dude, Mo is my soldier. He's like proficient musician, gets the style, easy to work with. Will hang out all night, but doesn't party. He's just like, he's one of my best friends in the world, you know, and I'm blessed to bring him around, or blessed when he hits me up to record something with him. It's just we both have that sort of hive mind, you know, like we get the mission statement.
Right.
Yeah. But Ozaru was just a one-off release, and he wanted to keep it cult, just do a tape.
Sure.
We don't
Oh,
even have
yeah.
our name. We didn't have our names on it. It
Yeah.
was just like whatever.
Very nondescript and cryptic, and
Yeah.
that's cool. Huh?
Yeah.
How about shock withdrawal?
That's still going on. Yeah.
Okay.
We're working on some songs right now for a split, and we played a bunch of shows last year. This year we only played one. Again, it's another scenario where like two guys are in Texas, Mo
Right.
from Ozaru and Barren Path. Ed Baruda's in that band as well now, and he didn't play on any of the record that came out or the EP, but he's gonna be on the next one. And yeah, that's still going. I'd say
Okay.
Shock and Barren Path are my two main things.
Okay, fair enough. Now, in your travels, or in your musical journey, has there been the chance meet up with anybody that's a hero in the music world to you? Any stories about rubbing elbows with anybody? Any jaw dropping moments where you say, "I can't believe I just got to fucking meet that guy"?
Oh man, I don't know. Like it's funny because I have met a lot of people I looked up to, but I feel like the grindcore scene is just so small and like humble and chill.
Yes. Yeah. Anybody
like-
outside of that scene though? Any rock stars? You've happened across?
I mean, I'd love to like hang out with Rob Halford one day. He's a fucking.
Of
I read
course.
his book a couple of years ago.
Me too.
Dude's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Try to think.
And don't feel bad because I don't have any cool ones either. I mean, I just like to ask because, like, obviously, like you're in the music world and you're out there touring, and you just never know, who you're going to encounter as you said, at festivals, at shows.
Yeah.
You get that weird, like, I'll talk to guys in extreme metal bands who will say, like, yeah, one time I got to meet, and it'll be somebody that'll just blow your mind, and maybe it won't even be a metal guy, but just somebody that blew them away. You know what I mean? Like.
I feel like my pool for that is like so little.
It's
like,
hard.
All right. This is a funny one. I remember years ago, I think it was like 2007, with my old band Maruda. It's a death grind band. We were playing a show in Pittsburgh, and Joe from Circle of Dead Children showed up to the show, and I'm like, whoa, like that was one of my favorite bands,
right?
And I'm like, oh, dude, why'd you come out? And like, I wasn't really starstruck, but like I was internally a bit, and I'm like, oh, why'd you come out? It's like, oh, I came to see you guys. I'm like, holy shit.
That's a mind fuck. Yeah.
Cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
We hung out and I got to know him, and
that's
in
cool.
touch for a couple of years. But that's a deep cut,
Right,
like it's not
right.
like.
Yeah, but that's a deep cut, man. But in the circles that you travel in, though, that's a big deal to you, though, right? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that might not be like a musician coming out here and saying, "Yeah, I had a chance encounter once where I met Bruce Springsteen in a fucking Starbucks or backstage somewhere." You know what I mean? That's one of those names that like transcends and like everybody knows, man. But when you start to shrink the market down a little bit, and you start to say, geez, I'm in grindcore. I got to meet a grindcore or a death metal hero of mine. You know what I mean? It's completely different,
Yeah.
I mean, if I was a death metal guy, man, and I do love death metal. I mean, if I meet somebody from like, Obituary or Cannibal, I got to meet Corpse Grinder. I thought that was a big deal,
Yeah.
Holy shit,
Yeah,
but it's like for the average person, hey, I met this guy, Corpse Grinder, who sings in Cannibal Corpse. Usually the majority of people who are just like, casual rock fans, music fans or whatever, they're going to look at you like you got three heads,
Yeah. I'm spoiled. I grew up in Florida, so I would see those guys around all the time.
Sure.
Obituary dudes, Cannibal dudes, just hanging out in Tampa and stuff. And I've met them a few times, but I also feel like I don't want to be a punisher. I'm not going to sit there and yap their ear off. I'm like, oh,
right.
Hey, that's it. Yeah. I feel when there's some common interests and stuff you can nerd out about. Like I'm sure those guys have people approaching them wanting to talk about records all the time. Like, dude, fucking Corpse Grinder, man. I love Monstrosity Millennium, great record, but I don't want to sit there and punish them. Yeah.
Right. He'd probably more happy if you were talking to him about shopping in Target or playing those claw machine games. He's into that.
For sure.
Yeah. That kind of stuff. I feel like those kind of guys would probably, you make a great point, they would probably rather have a conversation about anything but their fucking music. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
I feel like they probably get, they probably talk about it ad nauseum about their own music. And I find that a lot of times, even when I'm talking to guys in extreme metal or whatever genre that they play, a lot of times, man, they don't want to talk about that genre or even really listen to that genre all the time.
I mean, and sometimes they do, but the thing is, you got to remember with like, death metal bands that are that popular is that sometimes you'll get these like fanboys that are just unrelenting.
Right,
you know, they will just yap, and they'd be like, "Dude, check out my band," and it's just it's like very overwhelming. So the last thing I would ever want to do is be that.
Right.
You know, like
and then those people are at meet and greets and they just want to tell you their life story and there's 100 people in line behind them. You know what I mean? Like, like they're probably used to dealing with that. And it probably is tough. I imagine that it's you have to take those people with, you know, a smile on your face, but you're really thinking like, okay, let's move it along here. You know, like I got a bunch of people waiting to meet me. So how about your Desert Island album? Do you have a Desert Island album? If I were to drop you on a desert island and you can only take one album, and I know that's a fucking lousy scenario to be in.
Christ. Desert. Oh man.
Now, essentially, I guess you're going to be on this island and fucking die with this fucking album, so it's really got to be a good one.
All right. I'll just throw out Pornography by The Cure. I'll do that one.
Fair enough. That's a complete left turn, man, because we've been talking extreme metal and grindcore this whole time, man. But you're putting yourself in a scenario being on a desert island, and you don't want to listen to extreme metal.
Yeah. But that's, I don't know. But I feel like my Desert Island album is subject to change. I'll have a completely different answer in a week.
Tomorrow.
There's so many of them.
And so what does your holidays look like, man? How are you, off the subject of music, how will you spend your holidays?
Well, I just flew back. I went to Florida, like when we were talking the other week, and I was busy. I saw some family down there in Miami, where I'm from. My youngest brother just had a kid, so I'm an uncle now. That's pretty neat.
Great.
I got to meet them, and then for Christmas, I'm gonna go to Detroit to see my girlfriend. She lives out in Michigan. We're doing this long distance thing, and then she'll be moving out here next year.
Oh, good.
So I'll be, you know, tropical man is going to be subjected to the snow.
Yes,
we'll see how I do.
Yes, you are. Yeah. You better make sure you're packing your long johns and your flannels.
Oh, dude, yeah.
You're going to be in for it. I'm in upstate New York, and we're getting hammered right now.
Dude.
Snow, sub-zero weather when I got up this morning to go to work, and single digits or below. You know what I mean? Yeah, cold. Yeah, very cold up here right now, man. But you know what? I've been living here my whole life. It's not like it's a surprise. It's not a curveball. You know what I mean? Like, we know to brace ourselves for it. It's coming. You know what I mean? Like, we always know that. You know what I mean? You can't have any misconceptions being up here in the Northeast that you're going to somehow dodge winter or not experience it. It's not going to happen. You know, you're going to get it at some point.
That was me growing up with summer. You know, in Florida, it's just humid, brutal, rains all the time. You got to crank your AC all the way up. I don't know how I drove a car that didn't have air conditioning for so long. I was just misery, and you get out and like a swarm of gnats hits you in the face, and there's a flying roach. It's just that fucking swamp weather, man, is brutal.
But I do feel like it is very befitting for making and somebody I just had on here recently kind of agreed with this theory, and that the hot weather though is good fodder for creating aggressive extreme music. I don't know. There's a lot of great extreme metal that comes out of hot areas. I mean, think about it. That legendary death metal scene in Florida, the Bay Area thrash scene, great metal comes out of Texas. You know what I mean? There's a lot of great bands that come out of that NOLA scene. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's something to this theory.
Yeah. Misery helps.
Yeah. Hot, humid, and miserable. Yeah. It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It seems to anyway. And so before I let you out of here, man, so what's on the agenda for 2026, man? You know what I mean? A new year rolls around. Like, what do you guys got planned? I mean, as far as any of your projects, new music, shows, anything?
Yeah, well, Barren Path has, we're going to record a couple songs for an EP or a split. We'll figure it out. We're doing a little West Coast tour. We have a show we're playing in Seattle, the Northwest Terror Fest. So like Pig Destroyer, Black Breath,
nice.
A bunch of other Kylesa, a bunch of sick bands are on there. Geigen, shit, I can't remember off the top of my head. I remember looking at the lineup and being fucking stoked beyond belief.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a good time. And then I'm gonna play in LA and kind of trek our way up. Do something like 5 shows, nothing crazy. You know, it's like Taka has a fly in from Japan. Everyone has a fly in over here.
That's a brutal
And
fly-in too. That's got to take a lot out of him, though, as far as like being a guy in his 50s, man, and making that flight over here. I mean, there's got to be some exhaustion involved. He's a
dedication.
trooper. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's dedication,
Yeah.
kids. That's dedication right there,
Yeah.
man. When you're flying in from Japan and you're playing grindcore fucking shows, for fuck's sake, man, that guy's a hero right there.
You
That
got
guy's
to be a maniac.
You're a maniac, yeah. And
Yeah.
if people want to tap into what you got going on, man, or Barren Path has going on, man, where's the best place?
I post the most on Instagram for all
Okay.
of my bands. It's so hard to keep up with all these fucking platforms and
Don't I
shit,
know it,
dude.
I know.
And like I used to do Facebook, but everything I post just gets buried and no one reads it. It's just like the algorithm there is fucked. So Barren Path on Instagram, I think it's Barren_Path, Shock Withdrawal on Instagram, and either of those bands on Bandcamp. Bandcamp's another great way because if you just click follow, it'll let me message everyone and you can just see what we're up to.
It is hard. It is hard, man. You make a great point. It is hard to keep up with all the platforms because, like, you know, it's a little confusing sometimes. Like when I reach out to musicians, because they'll see the off the couch boxing. Because I do two separate ones. I do a boxing podcast and I do the music podcast.
Sick.
And a bunch of people have said to me, you know, how come each one of your podcasts doesn't have its own Facebook and own Instagram? Because I kind of promote them both through one platform. You know what I mean? It's just too much.
Yeah.
You spend your whole time
much,
on the internet all day. It's too much, man. You know what I mean? I got shit coming up, new episodes, anything. I just promote them on one Facebook account, one Instagram account. You know what I mean? Like it gets to be too much. You know, it really does.
You're not doing the TikTok.
I don't really.
I'm not.
I don't really do the TikTok. Yeah, I recently even just got good at like boning up on my Instagram game because my son chirped in my ear and said you should take little snippets of these episodes and make little reels or whatever the hell they call them on Instagram. So I've recently got a little bit more proficient at doing that, and I have seen it be a little bit beneficial as a promotional tool to maybe drive people to the channel to watch the full episodes or whatever. But yeah, TikTok though, I just you know I got a life I want to live too. Suddenly you find yourself in your device and you're posting here, you're posting there, and you're just like, God damn, I'm spending 7-8 hours a day on this.
Dude,
you know,
you can get sucked into it just posting something and responding to everyone, and it's
easy to do.
Its own full-time job. But also, what I was saying, like, I feel like both of us are too old for TikTok. That's like a 25 and under.
It is. I'm 52 years old. Yeah, I got no business on TikTok, man. You know what I mean? I do have an attention span longer than 60 seconds. You know what I mean? I think that caters to the people that really just, you know, entertain me for a couple seconds, and then my mind needs to move on. You know, it's like I don't quite get that. I'm not from that generation. I just find that hard just to tap in. I can still sit down and read a book, watch a movie, watch a long form Joe Rogan. I can watch two people converse for an hour, hour and a half. You know what I mean? Like I don't need to be like I don't need to be like okay, I'm 30 seconds into a song and I got to go on to the next thing. You know what I mean? That's the problem now. Like with music, a lot of it is it's a track by track world. People are making their little playlists and they're going to look at your album and say, I like this track and fuck the rest of it. You know what I mean? Like it's sad. Nobody just drops the needle and just goes for the journey anymore, you know?
Dude, absolutely. I feel nowadays, check out this band on Spotify and someone will listen to the first song, maybe half of the second and next. You know, like the amount of times growing up, I bought a CD and it didn't hook me at first. You know, you buy a CD, you're like, shit, I spent $17 on this thing. Let me give it a chance. You know, and then sometimes they grow on you, and then sometimes they end up being some of your favorite albums of all time.
No doubt.
You know, like I remember back in the day buying in high school, I bought Obscura by Gorguts. And I expected it to be like, you know, like Erosion of Sanity. But it was like when they went all dissonant and weird, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, God, it makes no sense. And then a few spins in, I'm like, actually,
a masterpiece. This
is one of my favorite albums ever made. Like it's holy shit.
See, people won't give an album that kind of time and dedication anymore. No. You know, they just don't.
Same I'll say about I remember getting In the Eyes of God by Today's the Day was another one where I'm just like, what the flying fuck? And now I go back and I listen to that record and it's one of my favorite albums of all time. It's a bit of a deep cut. Man. That's I had two musicians from Rochester at the time. What part of upstate New York do you live in?
I'm closest. I'm in a rural area, but when people ask, I'm the closest big city I'm near is Syracuse.
Oh shit. Okay. All right.
Yeah, so I'm kind of in central New York, so I'm smack dab in the middle of the state. I make the joke usually when people ask me when I tell them that I'm from New York, they instantly want to know like what borough. I'm like 4 hours from the exciting part of what people think of as New York City proper. You know what I mean? Like I'm a long way from the Bronx and Manhattan and all the exciting shit. You know what I mean? Like that's
You're
a 4-hour drive for me.
You're from Earth Crisis Land.
I'm from Earth Crisis Land. Yes, I'm from Earth Crisis Land. Exactly, man. Yep, right in their backyard. Yeah. Shout out Earth Crisis. It's nice to know that. It's nice to hear somebody shout them out. I don't think they've done anything new in a minute. I don't even know. Are they even a band still?
They still play shows from. I think they played something out here in LA recently. I don't know if it was like a reunion or like tribute or something. But back in the late '90s, man, I used to fucking
force. Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you doing this, man. It was really a lot of fun, and I'm glad we finally got a chance to actually like nail it down. We rescheduled a couple times, man, but I'm glad we got a chance to do it, man.
Yeah, third time's a charm, like I said.
Third time is a charm, man. Yeah. I'm gonna remember that, man, for sure, man. And definitely stay in touch, man. It was fun talking to you, man. We'll do it again.
Absolutely. Sure. Yeah. Holler anytime, and take care of yourself.
Thanks, brother. You too. Have a good holiday, man.
Take it easy.
Later. There he goes, folks. Mitch Luna from extreme grindcore. I don't even want to just say grindcore, because when you listen to this album by Barren Path, the album is called Grieving, just came out in 2025. Get this, 12 songs, 13 and a half minutes. Now, I know he said that the next one is not going to be that short, man, but this thing starts, bludgeons you to fucking death, and then ends. This is grindcore done fucking proper, and it is fucking heavy, brutal. It's in, it's out, it smashes you, melts your fucking face, and then it's fucking off to the fucking races, man. It's in and out and beats you over the head so fast you don't even know it hit you. That's the way grindcore should be done. Obviously, you're not going to sit there and listen, as I said earlier in the interview, to 50, 60 minutes of grindcore, man. So this is how you do it, man. Trim, lean, mean, all killer, no filter. Shout out to the boys in Barren Path. They've done a great one here, man. And I really appreciate Mitch Luna joining me today, man. As he said, this is the third time, man. I had to reschedule, had a couple of hiccups or whatever, man, but he was kind enough to work with my schedule. I worked with his, and we got it done. We always fucking find a way, man. And super happy and stoked to be able to have the chance to talk to him, man. And really go check out this album. If you are a grindcore fan, if you are a fan of extreme metal and you call yourself a fan of the genre, go check this out, because it definitely falls under the category of extreme metal. So if you like your shit hard, fast, brutal, and fucking heavy, man, this is the 2025 one of albums for you. So go check it out. Barren Path, Grieving. And like I said, you don't got to devote a lot of time to it, man. You can literally jump in the fucking shower, listen to this album, hop out, towel off. You'd have listened to the whole album, man. Maybe twice. I take a fast shower, so I might be able to go through it 2 times. So listen, appreciate it, man. Now I'll get down to my obligatory promotional spiel, because as you know, and I didn't get a chance to do this before Mitch got in here, if you have a podcast, you have to pimp it. There's the pimp hand. It's feeling very fucking strong. So here we go. Make sure to tap into SCUM on Facebook. As I said, I have 2 shows. I promote them through one Facebook and one Instagram. It's all I got time for, kids. The handle is Off the Couch Boxing and SCUM. Got the boxing show, got the music show. So you can tap in and get info on both on that Facebook page. Same handle on Instagram, Off the Couch Boxing and SCUM. And if you're watching us here right now, this is, of course, where you need to be to get your meat and potatoes. You'll get great promotional stuff, cool shit that I post, snippets of these interviews on Instagram. But if you want the full shit, this is where you need to be if you want to see and watch the entire interview. So if you're here, please like, please subscribe, and please smash that notification bell so you will stay tapped in and be privy to when new content drops. I bring you something new every single week. So get tapped in with us. I want to thank my viewers. I want to thank my subscribers. Of course, my guests. Could not do it without them. Really appreciate all you guys. I appreciate all the support for the channel. Specifically today, I appreciate Mitch Luna from Barren Path and Shock Withdrawal Go check out Barren Path's new one. As I said, it just dropped. It is called Grieving. It is literally grindcore done the fucking right way, man. This is a really brutal album, man. So brace yourself and prepare yourself to be walloped, mollywopped, if you will, because this album is going to do that to you, man. So I appreciate you guys, man. And again, thanks to Mitch Luna. Appreciate him as well, man. Until we get together and we do this thing again. Oh, let me digress, because I don't know if I did this at the beginning of the episode. I think I did, but I have such a terrible short-term memory, and that's probably from all the that I've done throughout the course of my life. I do want to address the elephant in the room, and I think I did it beforehand, but this whole time you've been probably fixated on these smoldering good looks and these luscious blonde locks, and you know what? I'm fixated on them as well, so I'm going to grab a look. I just want you to know that you have been looking at the one and only love child of one Diamond David Lee Roth. I think I did say it at the beginning of the episode, but it's worth mentioning again. It's always worth mentioning. So on that note, this is your boy Reckless Rex reminding you all to take it easy and keep it sleazy.